Coming up on this edition of Verbatim, we're talking about a new service that gives you a fake boyfriend or girlfriend.
And the snow didn't stop students from watching the Super Bowl on the big screen in the muck.
Plus, we take a look at the world of USD in 60 seconds.
Verbatim starts right now. Welcome to Verbatim, a weekly web show from the Volant. I'm Michael Geheren.
And I'm Megan Card. We're taking you behind the stories you find in our print edition, which you can find a new issue on newsstands today and from volantonline.com.
If you watched last week, you'll notice we're coming to you from our brand new studio. Looks pretty cool.
Now, let's take you behind some of the stories Michael and I are working on.
Yeah, so Megan's going to start. She's talking about a story that's in print issues today, on our print edition today, and it's about the ALICE program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the ALICE program is kind of a training done by police law enforcement for community groups for an active shooter situation. ALICE stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. And it's just really a way for people to respond if a gunman comes into an enclosed space and is planning to hurt people. So it's something that's not necessarily new. It was established in 2001. It's something recently being picked up, though, in the community. The Vermilion Police Department just started training with it last summer, and then this coming year, the University Police Department will start training with it as well. So it's a new kind of thing. The big kind of talking point about it is the counter element, which is really the kind of last resort that law enforcement is talking about to fight off an attacker. And there are some people who are kind of critical of that idea. But as police say, it is a last resort, and it can be a very proactive kind of conversation in regards to shooters, especially in the aftermath of things like Columbine, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, and so it's kind of it's an ongoing conversation.
Okay, yeah, and people think it can't happen here in Vermilion or at USD, right, but it can, and that's why they're training people.
Yeah,
for that.
It's completely that reason. It's making sure that worst case situations, people know what to do. But moving on to your story, something that's not coming in this issue, but the next week's Volant, it's about healthcare, right? So tell us about that.
It is. It's about the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. It's a really politicized debate, but now it's law, and so it's a law that a lot of people don't quite understand some of the repercussions of it. So February 15th, which is coming up really close, is the deadline to enroll in health insurance. People who do not have health insurance may not see the issue of not having health insurance until they file their taxes this year. And what that's going to do is when they file their taxes this year, they're going to get a tax penalty if they didn't have health insurance last year. And that's going to be about 1% of your yearly income, or about $95 per person for the year, whatever is more expensive. Now, if people do not enroll by February 15th, that's going to be reflected on next year's tax return, which is going to be 2% of your yearly income, or $325 per person. So it's almost doubling and going up even further from that. And so it's really important for people to understand that, because after talking with some people at USD, I realized people who don't have insurance don't understand that they're going to have these tax penalties, and they won't realize it until they file their taxes for this year, which will be the tax penalties from last year. It's a little confusing. You'll have to read next week in the Volant. And those are some of the stories that we're covering. A snowstorm this weekend didn't keep students in the residence halls from the Super Bowl. Volant reporter Braley Dodson shows us how the Coyotes enjoyed the big game.
Students flocked to the muck despite a winter storm warning to cheer on their teams for the Super Bowl, and were even able to munch on cookies themed after the two teams.
Right now we've got the Super Bowl party going on. We've got free food for students. The fountain machines are on courtesy of Airmark. We've got commercial bingo with 20 prizes. So students get to watch the commercials, and then if they have that bingo card with those specific businesses and products, they get a bingo, they win a prize. I think with the big media wall that we have, it enables a lot of people to come together as a community to watch the game together.
For the Volant, I'm Braley Dodson.
Thanks, Braley.
Coming up after the break, one Volant reporter tries a new app that gives her a fake boyfriend.
We'll be back in just 15 seconds.
Teachers today are finding new ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable.
reporter Natalie Keller started a new relationship with a fake boyfriend. We had her vlog her experience.
He also told me he likes to go to Wrigley Field because of the hot dogs, and then he asked me what kind of hot dog toppings I like. So, you know, things are getting pretty serious.
We met when our orders were switched at Starbucks. We started chatting and hit it off immediately, and we decided to be exclusive after a few weeks of dating. He recently had to move out of state for his job, but wants to try long distance. We mostly text and talk over the phone now.
Okay, so it's day one of Invisible Boyfriend. He texted me around 7:45, and I responded, and it took him about an hour to get back to me, so he told me he dropped his phone.
He's kind of lucky.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Oh, this is that app. I thought this was seriously your boyfriend.
Oh no, this is love.
Oh yeah.
I just feel very weird about this. Obviously, because, you know, I actually have a boyfriend, and there's a button that says send voicemail, and so I did that because I just wanted to see what the voicemails were, so I did that twice, and the voicemails were just very, like, generic, like,
I figured you probably wouldn't answer, but I wanted to call anyway. Hope you had an awesome night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I just don't think paying, you know, someone to just talk to you is really worth the money, and it's weird talking to some, I guess, random guy. I have no idea, but anyway, he takes a very long time to respond, so it's not a very quick conversation at all. You know, and I guess if you really only want it because you just want your parents off your back, I think maybe you can find a different way of getting them off your back, or like sitting them down and having a conversation with them. It's been an interesting experience, and it's something that I wouldn't want to do again, but that's just because it's not something I need in my life, and I guess, you know, if it's something you need in your life, I don't know. I guess that's your choice, but I think while you're in college, I think there's a better way to spend your money than paying someone to text you and leave you voicemails. So, just something to think about. And yeah, that's it.
Each week, the vlog covers the stories that affect the students at USD. We decided to take a look at the big stories of the week and show you the world of USD in just 60 seconds.
"12 months of recruiting boils down to one day of signing today for the University of South Dakota football program." We'll have a full map of where the recruits are from on ValantOnline.com.
This week in Verve, we featured USD students and their pets. From fish to dogs, students said owning animals while juggling classes requires a big commitment.
Some students at the University of South Dakota are finding the value in managing their money. Valant reporter Natalie Keller found some financial tips from Assistant Professor Brent Clark at the Beacom School of Business.
Anytime you rack up some debt or take out loans, you eventually have to pay those back. And the point there, I guess, is that it feels like you have a lot more money than you actually do.
Happening this week at USD.
Saturday is the Southeast South Dakota Scripps Regional Spelling Bee. The Spelling Bee begins at 10 in the morning in Al's Auditorium.
The Miss USD pageant is Sunday afternoon from 3 to 5 in Slagle Hall. The winner will advance to Miss South Dakota.
And coming up tonight on Coyote News, they're talking with Sammy Zoss about being the only team running for SGA president.
And Coyote News will have a live interview with a Vermilion Police Department officer about their new body cameras.
And they'll also have live coverage of USD's football signing day at Old Lumber Company.
Tune in tonight at 5 on Cable Channel 21.
Thanks for joining us this week on Verbatim. Be sure to tweet us with the hashtag USD Verbatim.
We'll see you next week.